Hey guys, it is Joseph Inghas, the Gangsta Piggy, and I am here giving you guys my first reactions of the March Apple event that just happened. This is going to be a solo reaction. Anthony is supposed to join me, but some things happened, so that's alright. We'll just do this on our own. So, first off, they mentioned that their 40th anniversary is coming up on April 1st, so big shout out to Apple. They've been around for a long time now. And yeah, they also mentioned the FBI versus Apple battle that's been going on. This has been very controversial. They said that privacy comes first, and I agree with them on this. But I'm sure a lot of you guys out there probably have different opinions on this. So please, if you have a different opinion, comment down in the comments below what your opinion is on what side you take in this FBI versus Apple battle. They also talked about renewable energy and how Apple is, wanting to save the world and add more resources to the world than it came in with. So they've been doing things where they've been adding trees and planting trees all over the world. They've been trying to use renewable energy as much as they can, and they're at a point where 93% of all of their facilities, that's their stores, their data centers, their headquarters, whatever, 93% of those facilities are using renewable energy. That's 100% in the US and 100% in China, as well as 100% in a couple other places. There's only some places that aren't at that yet, so that's really cool. The next thing they talked about was Liam, and what Liam is part of their Save the Environment initiative, and what Liam does is they give Liam an iPhone, and what it is it's like a robot, and he takes apart an iPhone so that and then he separates all the parts into different like columns or whatever, so then that way they can reuse parts or change those parts and use them for something else, so that they're never, wasting things. They don't want to waste iPhones. They don't want to waste any of their supplies. They want, if you're done with an iPhone, you trade it back in, and don't worry, it's still going to go to good use, even if it's not in its phone form anymore. Alright, so the first thing that they mentioned when it came to products was the Apple Watch. Now, there isn't a new Apple Watch that's coming out, or at least it wasn't announced at this conference, but they announced some new watch bands. They took down the starting price to $300 or $299 to be exact. Some of the new bands were nylon bands, and then this like really cool metallic black one, so you guys will have to check that out. The next thing they talked about was their Apple TV line, and if you guys don't know, they launched their new Apple TVs last year, and basically you could play games on it or get apps on it, so it was a big overhaul from the old Apple TV. They announced that there's over 5,000 TV apps, which is really awesome. Good job to them. And they're adding new features that are available to the TV OS today, live photos, dictation, and more. So you're going to be able to, use Siri in the App Store and get to a specific app right away. So that's really awesome. And then there was the big announcements. The first big announcement was the iPhone SE. Now, the iPhone SE is really, really similar to the iPhone 5S on the outside, but on the inside, all of the internals are different and upgraded. So the inside, there's the Apple A9 chip. It's the 64-bit version. It's the same CPU performance as the 6S. There's the same GPU performance as the 6S. The GPU performance is 3 times that of the 5S, and the CPU performance is 2 times that of the 5S in the past. So the SE is going to be as powerful as the 6S, but in a smaller package for those of you who like the 4-inch screen rather than the larger 5.2 or 5.5-inch screen. A new 12 megapixel camera on back, which is a big upgrade. It needed that. It can capture live photos. You can record 4K. It has Apple Pay built in. With the 4K, you can edit the same amount of stuff in 4K as you could on like the iPad Pro or the 6S or the 6S Plus, so that's really cool. It supports Hey Siri, and if you guys don't know what that is, that's where, say your phone is lying somewhere and you need to ask Siri something. You can enable it on the 6S, the 6S Plus, and now the SE, where even if it's not plugged in, you can say, "Hey Siri," and then it'll activate and you can ask it whatever. Starting price is $400 off contract. That's for the 16 gigabyte model. I don't recommend going with the 16 gigabyte model just because, you'll run out of storage really quickly. Go for the 64 gigabyte model, which is at $499, I think, so that should be fine. If you have a phone company that still has 2-year contracts, then you can get this phone for free on a new 2-year contract, so that's really cool. Orders start on March 24th, and it's going to be available on March 31st. Sticking with iOS, iOS 9.3 dropped today. It's really cool. You guys should download it if you haven't already. You can have password protected notes, so if you've got all those secret notes in there that you write to yourself, then now they're protected. Night shift is the big feature that was added. And what night shift is you can schedule it so at a certain time at night, your phone's screen temperature will change to all warmer colors so that it's easier to fall asleep at night, and then you can schedule it the time it shuts off and then the time it turns on, so it's easier to look at your screen at night and easier to help you fall asleep. And the last thing that they touched on was the iPad Pro. Now this iPad Pro isn't the same one as the large 12.9-inch display one that we saw announced last year. This one is a 9.7-inch display. It has 40% reflectivity, my bad. It's the brightest tablet available right now. Night shift will also be available. It has a true tone display. And what a true tone display is if you're in a room that has, at nighttime and you have lights on, obviously most people have the yellow lights. It's not the clean white lights. They usually have the yellow ones. So then the color of your paper won't be white. It'll be like an off-white, or it might have a yellow tone to it. Well, built into this iPad Pro, underneath the screen, it has a sensor so it can tell. So whatever environment you're in, the color will change so that it reflects the environment that you're in and the lighting that you're in, which I think is really awesome. 4 speakers, one on each side, which is really awesome. It's going to be a really loud tablet. In fact, it is twice the volume of the iPad Air 2, which is the iPad that I guess they're calling the one before this one. It has the A9X chip inside of it, which is the same chip that's inside of the larger iPad Pro. So this thing's a beast. It can do all kinds of things. It's going to run extremely fast. You can have 2 apps open at the same time and also have picture-in-picture with something else. So if you're watching a video, if you're FaceTiming, it's going to be able to handle all of that. This tablet is more powerful than the Xbox 360. Put that into perspective, because it's so thin, yet it outpowers that giant system that we had a couple years ago that was still the current gen. So tablets and technology is catching up to these consoles. So consoles, they might be dying off soon just because you can get that technology way easier in a smaller package. It also has embedded an M9 coprocessor, which helps with some other things. It also supports Hey Siri. It has its own Pro accessory. It has the smaller keyboard, but then you can also use the Apple Pencil with it, which is really awesome, and it's going to help out a lot of artists. And the iPad had a lot of stuff. Okay, so the other thing that they announced was a new SD card reader adapter and a USB camera adapter. This is big, because what you could do is, for people who podcast like the Piglet Posse, what we can do is we can hook up the USB camera adapter, plug in our USB mic, and then record our podcast right on the iPad with this adapter, which is really awesome. This iPad Pro, the 9.7-inch model, it finally got an upgrade in the camera department, because tablets are always known as the thing that you don't take cameras with because they're going to be really grainy and they're not going to look good. But with this iPad, it has a 12 megapixel camera, which is the same as the one found on the iPhone SE. The only problem I have with this camera, though, is that it's protruding, meaning it sticks out from the body, meaning when it's sitting flat, you're going to have that weird tilty thing if you press on either side. But, that's just nitpicking at this point, but it's still going to bother people. 4K video recording, 5 megapixel front camera, The rose gold color is coming to the iPad Pro, as well as the other 3 colors, the space gray, gold, and silver, which is pretty cool. Starting prices. The 32 gigabyte model will start at $600. The 128 gigabyte model will start at $749. And they also announced at this conference a 256 gigabyte version, which starts at $900 for the smaller model. And they also announced a 256 gigabyte model for the larger iPad Pro, which starts at $1,099, I believe. Orders open on March 24th and go on sale. They officially go on sale on March 21st. This conference really dragged at the beginning, honestly. I was just waiting for them to get to the products, because we all knew that with all the rumors that have been coming out that the iPad Pro, the smaller model, was coming and the iPhone SE was coming. So, at the beginning it kind of dragged out, but towards the end it was a really good conference. And honestly, I really want this iPad Pro. it might be the thing that replaces the MacBook that we currently use to edit everything with all of our videos, just because we could do so much more with it, and then we could have higher quality content as well as record higher quality content. So yeah, this has been my reactions of the March Apple event for 2016. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like this video if you liked what you saw. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below about that Apple versus FBI battle, you know, what side you stand on that. Follow us on all of our social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Look for that Snapchat soon. Tune into the Pork Podcast every single weekend. This has been Joseph Inghas, the Gangsta Piggy. Thanks for watching.